Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid South Wrestling Review for the 15th of September, 1984. And hopefully, you are enjoying the series. In any event, uh, this is a time when a lot of changes are happening in the area because of the change in bookers that had either already taken place or continues to go there. Jim Cornette regarding new rules and his interference and things that he considers to be unfair is a pretty big deal. We then see a highlight package of um, basically a music video with Butch Reed working out. We see him trying to take care of the junkyard dog, get rid of the junkyard dog for an extended period of time. Junkyard Dog, I believe, is on his way out of the promotion within the next month or so, and he basically says he's going to lay out the dog. They go back to the battles of laying out the dog and kind of spray painting him and all of that. In May of that year, you see him doing him being Reed doing bench presses, lateral presses, and all of that. Then we see the newcomer Master G making his way out, and that actually is the indication that the junkyard dog is gone or is leaving very soon, because Master G was the solution to replacing the dog. Basically, Butch Reed cuts a promo, says that there is no one quite like him and all of that. Dog, though, does make his way out and kind of is ready to confront things all here, and then we see some shots along the way. Um, the Actually, it's Master G that makes his way out and lays out the Butch Reed in a no pun intended but masterful way. Hits him with punches, kicks. Yeah, I mean, it's a brawl, but there's also a lot of clotheslines. It's the first time that Reed really has been laid out in that way. Master G is a experiment that doesn't really work out. The reason is he's made almost as a carbon copy of the Junkyard Dog. It doesn't work. The closer look at the Fantastics music video, really heavy on music videos and just kind of goofy filler this week. Uh, Beasley and Saunders against the Fantastics is the first main full match, and we're almost halfway through the program. I hate shows like that. To me, they're a waste of energy and time. Um, Production values are fine, but they don't necessarily draw people to arenas, which back in the 80s and 70s and 60s, that's what it was about. Fantastics making their way out, Fantastics doing the strut and kind of going around pretty assertively. Obviously, Fulton and Rogers have lasted here longer than needed. Well, not needed, but longer than expected, I guess you'd say. A lot of that has to do, I'm sure, with the absence of the Rock and Roll Express. But they haven't really been as successful as one would expect them to have been with the amount of push they've been getting, at least from my understanding. That does come later for them. We see um, Fulton with some arm drags on one of the enhancement talents. Hits the tackle, and again we kind of see the Fantastics continuing to work together. Always kind of coming back to staying on an arm and picking a body part. They do double teams like the Rock and Roll, but to a lesser degree in terms of frequency. Shot under the nose by Rogers, and Fulton comes back and snaps him over with a snapmare, continuing the battle, so to speak, figuratively and literally. And the match continues. Kind of seeing they meaning the Fantastics have been lit up before, as we kind of go here. But I mentioned the Rock and Roll. They do uh, are returning in a music video. We see that here. So I would assume the Fantastics are leaving pretty soon. Two teams that are almost identical or very similar gimmicks probably aren't going to work in the same territory. Drop kick under the chin by Fulton, who tags off, and Rogers comes back in. they continue to clean house, and ultimately things are going in a positive direction there. Snapmare takeover, and Fulton manages the armbar. Over the hip goes Fulton, and again, several shots by Fulton on the adversary. Again, for them to be in a enhancement match almost seems kind of like a waste of time. Highlights of Jim Duggan and Hercules from the local arena show. Powder thrown into the face. Duggan taking Hercules out in part because Hercules had attacked him previously. That battle is going to continue, and I will continue momentarily after I get my phone. And to be fair, this Duggan Hercules thing has been going on for a while. Duggan obviously is one of the bigger talents in the area. They brawl around the outside for a while. Duggan gets sent into the guardrails, and you do see um, Duggan take over on Hercules quite a bit, more than to be expected. But again, if the Junkyard Dog has in fact left, which I'm pretty sure at this point he has, you do need that stronger babyface. Duggan does continue to get a bit of a victory. Also, you know, the benefit of Cornette and an alliance with a Doctor Death type guy. Hercules having his hand raised, and Doctor Death officially turning completely. I mean, he already had, but I think this is for most fans going at it with Duggan a little different than Taylor. Duggan more entrenched in the culture of Mid South and all of that. Hercules and Doctor Death versus Mantell and Miller. Um, I don't know that there's an official management relationship with Jim Cornette, but it at least seems they're aligned temporarily. Hercules obviously has been a major guy, and the street fight type stuff that Duggan is, I guess, roundabout to is a pretty big deal. Hercules with the shoulder tackles, and again we see almost a dive forward Hercules. Still not a seasoned veteran to the way he would need to be. Miller tries to bring him down, or Mantell tries to bring him down. Doesn't go exactly according to plan. Miller has not been in the ring yet. Williams comes in, gets drop kicked under the chin, and finally Miller comes in. Miller, a relative newcomer as far as enhancement talents are concerned. We got a couple of, I guess you'd say, a couple of minutes worth of fighting. A big clothesline by Dr. Death. Dr. Death is ready to clean house and pulls the man up. That battle continues for several minutes to cut the ring off. Hercules comes back in, takes a few shots, big backdrop by Dr. Death. Dr. Death becoming more of a prominent person in the next, let's say, 3 or 4 months of Mid South, but manages to get a victory with a Oklahoma Stampede here. And then we close the program with the return or the announcement in music video form of the return of the Midnight Express, or I'm sorry, the Rock and Roll Express. So Midnights and Rock and Roll will be back momentarily for sure. Anyway, we will be back momentarily with a continuation of September 1984 in the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series. We'll be back right after this.